taxes are paid through escrow, you can still be eligible. And again, if your home is paid off, you can also still be eligible. This goes towards your property taxes. And to give you an overview of how long we have had this program, the fiscal year 21, we started out with 667 applications. And in 22, we had about 1,122 applications. In year 23, 2,551 applications. This year, we are projecting 7,622 applications. And right now, I think we're about 2,400 as of the end of August. And this program runs through November 22nd. So last year we had $2.5 million that the home grants were awarded to our homeowners, and we're expecting to exceed that this year. Right, and once you fill out your application, again, it is first come, first served. So once all of the funds have been exhausted, then that will end our program. So if all of the funds have been exhausted before November, then our program will end before November, but it does run through November 22nd. Again, if your property tax is escrowed, you can still apply. And if your property has already been paid off, you can also still apply as well. Again, it goes towards your property tax. And if you are eligible and you get approved, that grant goes directly to the tax office and it will pay for your property tax. If you apply and you have already been approved, but you paid your taxes, then it will go towards the following year as a credit. So it will pay your following year property tax bill. And we have several ways that you can apply. You can apply online. You can also come into one of our offices. We have the Valerie C. Woodard office on Freedom Drive, the Ella B. Scarborough office on Stitt Road, and also the County Assessor's office, which is located in the same building. You can also apply online at mecnc.gov/homes. You can mail in your applications. If you want to apply online and then drop off your applications at one of our locations, you can do that as well. And our homes number is located there on the bottom, 980-314-4663. If you'd like to call and have assistance with applying for your application, we can help you with that also. Okay, and our Department of Community Resources Director is Miss Yolanda Griffin. She's located at our Stitt Road office. Also, Delisa Tolbert, the Division Director, is also at our Stitt Road location. And Denise Salles Ballard, our Assistant Division Director, is located at our VCW, which is Freedom Drive. Shakira Francis is our Program Manager for Homes. She's also located at our Freedom Drive office, and our Supervisor, Jamie Nagel, is also located at our VCW office. Okay, and do you have any questions or anything you would like for me to go back over with you?
Language accessibility. Are there folks able to, is it just Spanish and English, or are there folks able to assist in other languages as well?
Yes, we do have interpreters for other languages also.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg and Treva, I'm not sure if there's a way we could advertise this to the East Charlotte area, but they are actually coming to the mobile food pantry that we host at Weeping Willow on October 1st. So I didn't know if we could I don't know, Greg, how we could do it, but they'll be there October 1st doing the mobile food pantry. And we had it set up last year as well. And they just come into the cafe and can sign up there in the cafe.
Cool. Well, I'll work on that with you with Venetia to get some marketing out about who all is going to be. That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Betty?
Yes, is the grant renewable each year? Do you have to reapply or how does that work?
Okay, good question. So you do have to reapply each year. So when our program begins on July 1st, you can reapply. And again, it ends on November 22nd, unless it's extended.
John?
Yeah, I just had a question.
Mhm.
I guess along the lines of marketing, is there a one pager that you have that we could have and distribute? I maintain a pretty robust community stakeholder listserv and would be
Mhm.
willing to share this information. Is there something that you can share that can be sent out as a one pager?
Yes, I can send out some information to you. How would I get that to you?
I could put it in the chat if that's okay, my contact information,
Okay.
and then you can have it. Yeah, just send me to me and I can, like I said, it hits a good number of people and then they have their own listserv. So not everybody, but it tends to keep paying itself forward, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
my name is John Giampaolo and I'll provide you my contact information in the chat now.
Okay. Thank you.
Triva, have you noticed in the past few years if there have been any service gaps with some of the zip codes that you all might need a little bit more support reaching?
So, yes, we do have several zip code areas that um, we noticed that we need to be more visible in. Let me see if I can get a list.
You can also just send it over to me too, because I know
Okay.
working with Jenny Harper at the county for the emergency assistance programs,
Mm-hmm.
there's they have a pretty solid outreach within East Charlotte, but there's some specific pockets that they need a little bit more support in boosting
Mm-hmm.
it to. And I know you all are
Mm-hmm.
very visible in terms of you have billboards up, it's a pretty robust marketing campaign, but
Mm-hmm.
anything that we can do in this network to ensure that it hits all corners of East Charlotte,
Okay.
please just let us know.
Yeah, I can send you the list of the zip codes that
Okay.
we have found that we need to be more visible in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And
Joanne,
how do I unshare my screen
this should
from
be just a
here?
thing that
Just
says stop sharing. While you're doing that, Joanne, I see
okay.
your hand. Your hand is up.
Yes. The question I have, and maybe it's also a comment,
Mm-hmm.
that's that whole neighborhood that faces like Eastway from like across from Ross almost down to like where Tryon is. I know some folks that are trying to work. So that area that would be Eastway, the plaza, and Sugar Creek
Mm-hmm.
down by there. I know some activists, some folks that are trying to get people to sign up for the homes program or try to, you know, the tax stuff, and they're getting. I think, and I'm thinking about what John was just saying too. They, there's some resistance, and I'm not sure what it is. It's also maybe some fear, and these are people who, if they don't do something soon, they will probably no longer have shelter. You know, and maybe some discussion about that because I think there's something because these are folks that are determined to try to keep people in their homes, you know,
Joanne, are you?
hmm
I'm sorry. Are you talking about a lot of the Howie Acres folks in the Hampshire Hills and the Hidden
I
Valley
guess,
folks?
yeah, I guess I just
Okay.
don't know the name of it, you know, and
The PAG group. I can ensure that that actually might be a good audience for them to have another one-on-one like this right
yeah,
now, like a
yeah,
presentation to them, because I know what you're talking about. They're doing a ton of work because the displacement risk is probably the highest in the county over there.
hmm
It's extremely high right there, and there's not a lot of visibility of it because those neighborhoods are tucked away.
yeah,
Um, I'll make sure that that they get plugged in to this after this call. I'll send a connecting email.
Okay.
And Howie, it states that's off of the plaza.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So yeah, I was just over there at a HOA meeting
Okay.
this week. No, last week. I think it was last week. So yeah, if, any way that you could help get that information out, or we need to come out again, definitely. If you've noticed there may be some hesitation, whatever we can do to, let them know that, we're out here to help them.
Thank you for lifting that up, Joanne.
Mhm. Oh, always.
All right. Do we have any more questions or comments regarding the homes program? All righty. Well, thank you, Treva,
Okay.
very much for joining us. And if you'll just shoot me whenever you can those zip codes, and
Okay,
we'll
I sure will.
take the communication from there. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty, y'all. We are gonna go ahead and move on to our next agenda item, which is from Galilee. I don't think Emily's on the call with us, but Galilee did want to lift that they are doing some voter registration drives coming up. And I know they're not the only organization doing it. I know, Louise, you hear from the league, and I'm sure there's some other folks doing it as well. But St. Peter's and Galilee's, oh, Joanne, you're on the call. We'll host 3 nonpartisan voter registration drives in September and October. The dates are at the bottom. I don't know if any of the Galilee folks would like to speak on this, but I'll ensure that these flyers get out to everyone.
We really are encouraging, once again, anybody who wants to come and check, anybody, a lot of people their anxiety is up really high about voting. And so that's why we're going to host it there, so people can come register for the first time. We're going to have folks who can speak Spanish on hand. And maybe Namish is going to be there. He brings some folks from the Hindu Center. But we want it to be just as warm and as welcoming as possible. So people will be there. I'm excited about it. I think it's one of the best things Galilee has done in a while.
Well, thank y'all for doing it. It's key.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there to help greet them, so it'll be a
Wonderful,
very
wonderful.
welcoming environment. Yes.
Could I ask a question? Are you going to have somebody there to help with people who need ID?
Yes, we're going to help them with that.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if we can get her there that day, but we're going to have all those referral sources. What else do you need? Yes, we're taking care of that.
The card for the, yeah, great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Galilee. Thank you. Gonna go ahead and move on to an item for the museum. As y'all know, we've brought up the museum quite a few times in this call over the past year or so. Under their new CEO, Terry White's leadership, the Charlotte Museum of History has made some pretty significant gains in the event space in terms of bringing in high profile folks and in terms of the restoration of some of their sites. This Saturday is an event that marks the restoration and official reopening of their restored log kitchen. There's a national chef. His name is Michael Twitty. I don't know exactly what his title is, but I know he's very big in the culinary space. But he's going to be doing a book talk. There's going to be barbecue available, and it's going to be a 10 to 3 event with the food coming at noon to 3. It's free entry, but the food I think is going to be for sale, and it's in partnership with the culinary team at Johnson and Wales. So I know Terry has been very excited about this event for like half a year now. I'm excited. As a Carolinian, there's nothing that gets me to a function like North Carolina barbecue. So I will certainly be there. And if y'all can't make this event, please please be on the lookout for events from the Museum of History. They're really doing some phenomenal things. I know it's starting tomorrow. They're having if you don't know the Siloam School that was restored recently, they're doing a multi-week teacher, what are they calling this? But it's like a curriculum for local history teachers to particularly to study the history of the Rosenwald schools to be able to help them educate their own students on it while they're in literally one of the original Rosenwald schools. So they're doing some really phenomenal programming. And if you haven't got the opportunity to go in a while, I would encourage you to check it out. All right, next item. Venitra, if you would like to speak to your clinic at the end of the month.
Yeah, listen, the event at the museum, we can just leave straight from Keep Charlotte Beautiful and just head on over there.
I completely forgot to put that on the agenda, so thank you for reminding me.
Yep, so keep
Thank
Charlotte.
you. I'll bring that up in a minute.
Okay. So our vaccine clinic will be at Weeping Willow AME Zion Church on Milton Road from 1:30 to 3:30, and the QR code will take you to a registration form. And we're doing that because the pharmacy needs to know how many of each vaccine to bring. So if you all know anybody that needs the RSV, flu, or COVID, please just have them to register, and we'll probably have some light refreshments and things of that sort. But this is the second time that Randolph has been to administer vaccines for us during our monthly meetup. And this is open to the public. It's not just for the Frankie Mae Foundation caregiver. So this is open to the public.
Wonderful. And can you briefly explain to, I know we were just texting, but so this is the Saturday at the end of the month, but then a few days later, y'all are hosting the food pantry?
Yes, so the mobile
Okay.
food pantry with the county, the first Tuesday in every month at Weeping Willow, the county comes and does the mobile food pantry and free groceries. You do have to fill out paperwork, but you can do that on the spot. And it is from 10 to 12, the first Tuesday of every month at Weeping Willow. And the county will be set up in October for the homes program. They'll be there taking applications during the mobile food pantry. And we had a lot of traffic last year when they came for the homes program.
It's wonderful. I had no idea that Weeping Willow was a site for that monthly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Did not know. Any questions for Venitra? Okay. I did not put this on the agenda, but I will do before we get to the next item. This Saturday at 10, Charlotte East will be holding one of our 3 annual Central Avenue cleanups. We'll meet at Manolo's Bakery at 10, split up and walk down to the Eastland site and back by noon. It's a good event. It's nice to get out. Saturday should be, hopefully the weather will hold up. It's always a good time to build community and to help beautify the street. I know since we've really been involved with this specific beautification in adopting this corridor, particularly when we started doing our public art installations, the business ownership of keeping their property storefronts and their parking spaces clean has improved significantly. So, it makes a difference when you see people, even you're driving by and you see people cleaning up. So all are welcome. And the last thing, and I can do this without the text because that's a huge wall of text. On Monday night, the Charlotte City Council unanimously voted to approve the final funding request needed to start construction of the 30 eastern acres of the Eastland parcel. This was what our community fought for. This was the advocacy campaign that we had last year for an amateur sports complex to serve as an economic driver for our region. So the final funding was 11.3 million needed in infrastructure, particularly along Albemarle and Central. Retaining walls are going to be needed, and those are like $3 million each for retaining walls. So it was needed to ensure that this was the last check of the box from the city before construction can begin. Groundbreaking, quote unquote, groundbreaking for this parcel of the site is not going to begin until early next year. The infrastructure on the western acres has to be completed first, and then they're going to move over. So there's a lot going on here, and I wish I had the full site map. This is only the eastern 30 acres, and you can see part of the 4.5 acre park in the bottom. But this is a huge wall of text, but I'm going to leave it up here, particularly the top 3 bullet points, and I'll share this as well in the email. If you've driven by the site recently, you've seen a lot of progress, a lot of things going up. The building that looks done is the 70 affordable senior apartments. So these are scheduled to have tenants move in by the end of this year. I don't know how likely that is, but that's what the schedule still is as of Monday. These apartments, there is a waiting list for those interested in the units that I will be happy to help residents get put on. This was one of those things I think we need to discuss as a community collectively, how we do referrals for affordable housing units a lot differently, because part of this, promises were made to a lot of East Charlotteans for years that they would be able to be some of the first to access that. And understanding that there are different ways that affordable units get marketed. But if there's anyone who's interested or has someone who would like to get referred to these units, please direct them to me, and I will lift them directly to the partners at Crosland to get them put on that waiting list. The eligibility requirements for these 70 units, you have to be over the age of 55 and have an income between 30 to 80% of the area median income, which for 2024 is between $22,000 and $60,000 for an individual. So these are the apartments that are the building that is almost done. If you go a little bit further down Central, the next piece of the property, those are the 2 larger, and you can see one of them on the very left right here in the middle, if you can see my cursor. These are the roughly 260 apartment complexes that are going to be quote unquote workforce housing, which is about average median income 80% to 120%. These are nowhere close to being ready to go. The framing is I mean, it's gone vertical now, but a lot of work needs to be done. At the bottom of this is going to be 16,000 square feet of retail. That retail is going to be specifically earmarked. Louise, I see you coming up and you're on the call right now. I'm sorry. I see one of our, there's a meeting at VisArt later that I'm going to share in a minute. But I see Louise is on the call and walking in. But these apartments, the base level is going to be 16,000 square feet is retail. This retail is earmarked specifically for small businesses in the East Charlotte community or people who need additional storefront. How those folks are going to get selected, there's no playbook to do it, so I'm assuming it's going to be us, Charlotte East, who supports with that endeavor.
Where is
So
coffee with a reporter?
so
Yeah.
if y'all
So you go one
know
of 2 ways.
if y'all know of any small businesses that would be interested in this space, please let me know. We're a ways out from it, but it's never too early to start having the conversation. I think the city is the one who will be the quote unquote tenant, and they have 10 years dedicated and promised for reduced rent for these spaces. So in terms with this piece of the parcel as well, there is a pad for a grocer. There's been a long-standing part of the site plan is called for a grocery store. As of Monday, and this has been the case for now a year, the master developer can still not get a grocer to commit to this site. A lot of reasons for, a lot of that has to do with area median income. Some of it has to do with the site being directly in the middle of 2 compare foods. So we're still a little bit ways out from the retail component, but as you can see in the back of the site right here, this is where the single family housing and some of the townhouses are going to go. So we have 160 homes and townhomes. Construction is yet to begin, but these are going to be market rate, to my understanding. And Carolyn or whoever, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's market rate. So anyway, that's what you guys are all seeing right now. The county park, which is right across the street from the fire station, this has not started construction yet. The county is about to release actually the final plan for it to the public. A lot of individuals have been helping design it from the community. Carolyn Millen is on this call. Jordan, I know you supported with that for a bit. But the community has really come together to design an incredible space. It's only 4.5 acres, but the elements on this park are, I mean, I just can't wait until they get shared. It's truly going to have a lot for kids in terms of things that are unique that don't exist elsewhere in our parks. It's going to have some passive recreation elements. It is going to have a small amphitheater, small. So for like, you know, very community pop-ups. You know, I know the intent is to have vendors out there with some level of frequency. Think about like smaller pop-up weekend events, but there will also be multi-use courts, and it's just all around an extremely exciting part of the site. I don't know, Carolyn or Jordan, if either one of you want to speak to any of those elements, or I can just move on. Okay, I will move on. And that brings us to the final 30 acres right here that we're looking at. So the amateur sports complex itself, this is the entire site right here is the full thing, but there are 4 parties involved. The top parcel is going to be the actual indoor sports component. That's 100,000 square feet. It is a local group, Bolton Ivory Canty LLC, with a Boston company called Edge Sports Global. Edge Sports Global has built about 15 of these across the United States. Very excited about the impact here. There are going to be 10 basketball courts that can be converted into 16 volleyball. There's going to be commercial space inside. They're still figuring out who the healthcare provider is going to be. But there's also going to be some other office space in there. But y'all, I gotta be very optimistic and clear here. So the Charlotte Regional Visitors Authority has been very supportive already with this site. They're already starting to book tournaments for 2027. So this is real. This is happening. There's already contracts being drafted up to have amateur sports tournaments, junior league tournaments come here by 2027. The annual economic impact, and this is both from the parties here, but it was confirmed by CRVA, is looking to be around $170 million annually. This site is expected to bring 100,000 hotel stays per year. It is also expected to create 500 jobs. And you know, I know there are a million questions about how is this going to look? How are these people going to get prioritized? How do we ensure there's community access? Charlotte East is going to be doing a lot of that work and being the conduit between the private partners and the community. And I hope, you know, it's going to take some time, but I hope our organization has developed or established some bit of trust in the community that, you know, folks will give the benefit of the doubt in ensuring that we're going to do everything we can to get our folks in those jobs, to get our kids in that facility. There is going to be a significant community use component of this facility where people can come in and use it. We haven't figured out if that's going to be a membership, if that's going to be daily usage, how that payment structure is going to work. We're going to figure it out. I have confidence. We have a 2.5-year runway, but we need to get going. The bottom parcel right here is the Charlotte Soccer Academy mixed with, the fields are Charlotte Soccer Academy and Southern Entertainment. So they are aggressively estimating that these will be ready to go by spring 2026, which is about the same time the park will come on board. The community use for these is going to be significantly limited. Haven't figured out exactly what that significant limitations is, but the fields that they have in Pineville, there is very limited community use because there's such a demand for the fields almost 24/7 year round. So Southern Entertainment is the entertainment partner that was responsible for the Love and Life Music Festival Uptown. They are part of this project. They're a core member of this project, and they are intending to do events on this acreage. The acreage that's allotted on these fields is 17 acres. Originally, the plan that we had pushed back against, they wanted the full 30. So what you're looking at is a true compromise in the sense of the term compromise. All of these parties are working together very closely. We intend to work very closely with all of them as well to ensure that our community is able to take advantage of both the economic opportunities and the entertainment opportunities, and that we help advocate for better transit opportunities to get to and from the site. I'm going to be very transparent that I'm extremely concerned about the intersection of Redmond and Albemarle. That is going to be a traffic nightmare. I don't know exactly where things stand with how that is going to get mitigated, but it's going to be a very funky turn because, as you can see on the site plan, you have an entrance coming off of Albemarle, and then you have the one coming off Central, and then you have an egress right now on Wallora Lake. And I don't know if that one on Wallora Lake is finalized, but you're talking about, I think, roughly 700 parking spaces right here, just on this parcel. So it's a lot of parking. And I'm sorry, y'all, I've been talking nonstop about this. I feel like I'm doing it in my sleep now. Are there any high level or immediate questions about the site that I can help answer? I'll be happy to do so. I'll be happy to give you guys a call individually or separately to talk through it more. Definitely still a lot of logistical questions to figure out for the 2027 really completion. But we're excited. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm extremely excited. I think this is going to be transformative. I do think we have enough social service safeguards in place that are both moving to the area in terms of the Kate Blessing Center across the street for behavioral health for youth. We have the Umbrella Center moving in. We have some of the existing social services. We have so many units already dedicated to affordable housing in this region, including in this immediate proximity, including the 128 units at Albemarle Landing right over here that are opening up soon. So I think we're in a good position right now. Any comments or questions?
I don't know. This is Joanne again. I'm sorry, but the housing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I have two questions. I know you can't set aside. I mean, I hope everybody who's waiting around to find a place to live on this side of town gets in there, you know?
Yeah, me too.
That's one. And then the other one, when you were just talking about Redmond Road and Albemarle, I'm just thinking what's going to be at risk when they realize that they've created a almost impossible situation with traffic. Would that mean that the banks would be, I mean, are they going to?
That's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know, because that's prime real estate right there now, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's prime, and I've been talking to a lot of the commercial property owners in the vicinity over the past few months, and everybody is pretty content on sticking and staying. I don't get that there's any impression that there's going to do a huge sell-off, especially in the immediate, which is, like, to me, as I'm looking at 4 to 5 years. I don't think we're going to see that at all. And I'm going to tell you what's even more to me, besides the Eastland property itself. Yeah, we have 1,000 units, including Eastland. We have 1,000 units coming on board within 0.1 miles of this site in the next 2 years. So right now there is a rezone, and they're all multifamily. There is a rezoning in the Charlotte East business complex, like right off Executive Center Drive. Their whole, when you're facing Executive Center, their whole right side, there's a rezoning, and I think I don't know if it's passed or if it's going to be heard next month, trying to convert that office space into about 400 to 450 multifamily. So there's a lot of density going up. And this is a conversation for another day for y'all. But it's critical that our community pays extremely close attention to the transportation talks. Extremely close attention, particularly when the legislature figures out what it's going to do. Our community, and I'm talking with the stakeholders who've been decision makers, our community is really going to need to stand up very collectively and loudly,
Yeah.
and say that we need X, Y, and Z, or this plan is not going to be tenable for the entire community. And I do believe that there is strength in our numbers enough, along with Matthews, to do it. I know there is a lot of fear from some of the folks at the city level that that will be the case. But we're in this situation now where we're talking about this incredible density that's coming, but no increased transportation offerings to make this tenable. So anyway. And Joanne, we can talk further too. I'd be happy to. I can stop by and we can chat. Yeah, we are almost at time, but I'm happy to take another question about this if anybody has one. Okay. Well, with that said, I'm over here at Visart right now in Eastway Crossing because the Charlotte Observer, one of their reporters, there are a lot of folks here, but they're doing like the pop in and talk with the Charlotte Observer event. And it's their educational reporter, and I believe she's going to be here until 5:30. So if anybody's interested in coming to talk, please come do so.
Okay.
So, alrighty. Bye, y'all. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you.